I'll tell you what kind of man I really am. I have no strength, but I want it all. I have no knowledge, but all I do is dream. There's nothing I can do, but I struggle in vain like an idiot. I hate myself!
ReZero is a story about perseverance and how much suffering one person can go through. All that and more is betrayed through the main character of the series, Natsuki Subaru. At the start of the anime and even before he was isekai, Subaru was a shut-in that didn't go to school and distanced himself from everyone, even his own parents. And even when he is isekai and ends up in Laguniga, this is shown in the way he acts. But throughout the series, he has major character growth and develops into one of, if not the best isekai anime protagonist I have ever seen. But what's up guys, Storm back here with another video, and if you like the content you're seeing, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment. I mean, they're all free, so why not? If you want some dope channel merch, the link will be down in the description below, and all the socials will be as well. So without further ado, why don't we just dive right back in. Now, there are really good isekai anime protagonists, such as Rimuru from Reincarnated as a Slime, Rudeus from Mushoku Tensei, Ainz from Overlord, and some others as well. But Subaru is something else. So after he's isekai, because he's a shut-in, he's immediately drawn into his new surroundings, and thinks he's going to be the main character, becomes overpowered and gets all the girls. He messes around trying to use magic and fails, and just has a not so good first day. He wonders where the cute girl who summoned him was, and all that while he's only thinking of himself, and doesn't even think of his life back home, which comes up later in the anime. Things get worse when he gets cornered by 3 muggers, and that's when he meets Emilia. He's immediately drawn to her, and over the course of the first episode he begins to fall for her. He wants to help her out and get her stolen insignia back, but when he enters the loot house, they both end up dying. And this is the first time he dies, and this is the first time he returns by death. Obviously he's a little confused, but over the course of dying and returning by death a few more times, he realizes what's happening. In order to avoid it getting to him, his mind focuses on Emilia and helping her out. The major threat that Subaru kept dying to was Elsa the Bowel Hunter at the loot house. Eventually though, he managed to overcome this and was able to save Emilia, stop Elsa, and save himself, with some help from ReZero Jesus, that being Reinhard. He goes with Emilia to the Roswaal mansion and meets the other characters who greatly influence him, such as Ram, Roswaal, Beatrice, but most of all, Rem. He dies a lot more due to a curse, but also Rem at one point. All of this death starts to get to him, but he perseveres through it all because he grows to care about Rem and the villagers that the curse will affect. He wants to save all of them, and even though he can only come back after he dies, he goes to a forest to fight against magical beasts or mob beasts to save everyone. He gets help from Rem, and after they manage to stop the curse and save everyone, he gains the trust and respect of Ram, and sort of Roswaal and kind of Beatrice. Those were the first 2 arcs where Subaru went through some shit and grew because of his experiences, but in arc 3 is where shit hits the fan. So Emilia is a royal candidate, meaning she is one of 5 candidates who are attempting to become the next ruler of Laguniga. So she has to go to the capital and Subaru wants to go with her. Emilia doesn't want to put him in harm's way, but he still insists. When they get there, Emilia asks Subaru to promise to stay put. Obviously Mans doesn't do that, and he ends up in the palace with a lot of knights and all the other royal candidates. He does defend Emilia and claims to be her knight, but then mocks Julius, another knight, and causes a lot of commotion, which results in him being kicked out. Subaru is annoyed in general, and to make things worse, he duels Julius and gets his shit rocked. After losing, he wakes up and sees Emilia. The talk they have shows the problems Subaru has, and it ends with Subaru trying to tell her about Return by Death, but he can't tell anyone about it. He ends up yelling at her, saying that he got her to where she is and that she should be grateful to him, just pretty much being an asshole to one of the only people that's actually helped him since he came to this world. And because of this, Emilia leaves Subaru in the capital to heal from his injuries and just leave him out of everything that's happening for his own good. And after she leaves, Subaru is bitter about what happened. He spends some time in the capital with Rem healing and just being bitter. He ends up returning to the Roswaal mansion, but this is where shit gets crazy and Subaru goes through his worst deaths yet. Each time he finds everyone dead and that the witch's cult is responsible, and that there's nothing he can do. He tries to stop them but fails miserably each time and goes through his worst suffering yet. This being finding Emilia, Ram, the villagers dead in different loops. But the most dark and brutal would be all Rem's different deaths. From dying to another major part of this arc, the white whale, and being forgotten because that's what happens when you get eaten by that thing, to killed quite a bit by the witch's cult. But before Rem's worst death, and when Subaru is trying to figure out what's going on, he keeps returning by death, and this caused him to pretty much go insane. He's bedridden from insanity, and Rem takes him back to the mansion, but on the way back, the witch's cult pulls up and takes Subaru. He's still insane, and Rem fights the cult back, but that's when the Sin Archbishop of Sloth, Betelgeuse Romani Conti, gets introduced. And then he asks Subaru one of the craziest lines in the series. He asks Subaru why he's pretending to be insane, as Betelgeuse knows what true insanity looks like, and Subaru is not insane. This shocks Subaru, but that's when Rem shows up and tries to fight them. But Betelgeuse uses his ability, the Unseen Hands, to twist and contort Rem's body in front of Subaru. He breaks her neck, arms, legs, and this causes Subaru to snap back, yelling that he's going to kill Betelgeuse. The Sin Archbishop laughs and just leaves Subaru there. But bro, that's when Rem, who's mangled and broken, crawls to Subaru, uses the last of her strength to free him, and then dies in his arms, saying that she loves him. He carries her corpse and walks to the mansion, but that's when he sees a giant beast who is Puck, Amelia's spirit, and he says that he was too late, and then his head lops off. That was one of his worst deaths yet, and it greatly affects Subaru. He tries to save everyone some more, but fails at each point. This culminates into him and everyone dying more, and it comes to a point where he's ready to just say fuck it and run away. He takes Rem and he asks her to run away with him. He's serious and she can see that, but that's when he has a heart-to-heart with Rem. Rem says that she would want nothing more than to run away with Subaru, and even describes a life that they could have if they did so. But that's when she tells him that giving up isn't what Subaru does, but that's when Subaru yells and just lets his frustrations out. He says there's nothing easy about giving up, and overall that he hates himself. He says that he talks big and he thinks he's all that, when in reality he knows he can't do anything and is just a nobody. But the main thing is that Subaru says that he hates himself, and from this point onward he grows as a character. He needed to let those frustrations he had bottle up inside out, and that's when Rem tells him that he's her hero and that she loves him. Subaru breaks down and the two embrace, and that's when Rem says that they can start over from zero, hence the name ReZero. It's a masterful scene that perfectly shows Subaru's character and his growth that happens later on because of it. So Subaru starts to feel better and eventually manages to save everyone and beat the White Whale and stop the witch's cult. But when season 2 kicks in, shit just gets even more crazy. Rem and her group, who are coming back from the White Whale, were attacked by the Sin Archbishops of Greed and Sloth. Just gotta slay Regulus, the Sin of Greed is a menace. But the Sin of Sloth ends up eating Rem's being, her pretty much fucking existence, and as a result, everyone except Subaru forgets about her. Subaru tries to return by death to save her, but he can't, and she's stuck in a never-ending sleep for the current arc anyway. This affects him greatly because she is one of the most important people in his life, and is just as important as Amelia, and he wants to save her. She gets taken to the mansion, and Subaru and Amelia end up going to a place called the Sanctuary. And after some shenanigans, Subaru ends up meeting the Witch of Greed, Echidna, who is also Best Girl. Each time they talk, Subaru grows as a character, but the first time he kind of just wants to get out of there. Moving on from that, everyone, well, except for humans, is stuck in a barrier in the Sanctuary, and they have to pass 3 trials to get rid of the barrier, and Amelia is the one who has to go through them. She struggles, and when he goes to check on her, Subaru ends up taking the first trial. This is where something that many isekai just never show happens. So Subaru has to face his past, and that's when his parents get introduced. Most isekai never show the MC's parents and just have the MC pretty much forget about them and his past life. But here, Subaru has to face his past and his parents. This episode is honestly amazing and shows that before Subaru was isekai'd, he was just a shut-in who didn't even go to school. But over the course of the episode, he ends up making up with his parents and facing his past and growing as a character as a result. He's able to say goodbye to his mom and dad, which, not gonna lie, might make you shed a tear. It helps him overcome his past and give him some closure for the fact that he's probably never gonna see his family ever again. But after he dies some more due to some fuckery that involves Roswaal, he ends up dying a whole lot more, and these deaths are even more gruesome than the previous arcs. From being sliced open and beaten to death by the assassins in the mansion, to the most brutal of the anime so far, being eaten alive. So another one of the great mobbies, like the White Whale, this one was the Great Rabbit. So this fucking thing can infinitely multiply and eats any living thing, and Subaru ends up getting eaten alive. It's just dark as shit. They just eat him from all corners of his body, and the fucking things even crawl inside of him. So after that brutal death, alongside all the other shit that's happening, Subaru's mind starts to break. But that's when he meets Echidna again, and this is where another major aspect of the show occurs. So Subaru realizes that she knows some stuff she shouldn't know, and that's when he realizes that, well, major spoilers for this scene. He tells her about Return by Death. He tells her over and over and breaks down because he can finally tell someone about everything that he's gone through. And it's just a heartwarming scene where Subaru is just letting out his emotions and Echidna is comforting him. Definitely one of the best moments of the entire anime, and it helps Subaru out tremendously, not just as a character but just as a person. Eventually Subaru calms down, and as the season goes on, he struggles in vain. He's fighting and dying all alone. Well, there is Echidna who knows, she's not really with him, but that's when Best Boy Otto, who went with Subaru and Amelia to the sanctuary, helps out Subaru by saying that he shouldn't do everything alone, and that it's okay to rely on others. And this makes Subaru grow even more during the season, and because of this, he's able to stop most of the dark shit that happens. But then there's one other dark scene, that being the kiss of death. I would say this greatly affected Subaru as he saw how bad things could get, as pretty much everyone was dead and Amelia had gone insane. And as he's about to die, Yandere and Amelia kissed him as he returns by death. Other major events that happen and push Subaru even further as a character is when he meets the other witches, but most importantly Satella, the Witch of Envy, who is pretty much the one responsible for everything he's going through. But while he is horrified of her, he says that he's going to save her just like Amelia. And when he meets up with the other witches, he's about to form a contract with Echidna so he can save everyone, but to do so, he would have to use Return by Death over and over and over. He doesn't really think much about it, but Satella tells him he should care more about himself, and that he should be included in the future where he saves everyone. The second trial also fuels us as it shows the world after Subaru has died, and how his death affected others, and this culminates into him wanting to trust and rely on others, and not sacrifice and do everything himself. Also, Subaru wants to save everyone at the mansion, but most importantly Beatrice, as that's some of the fuckery that causes a lot of his deaths. However, Subaru and Amelia have a heart-to-heart, where Subaru tells her he loves her. He did that at the end of season 1, but this one was more impactful and shows how far they have come. They yell and vent out all of their frustrations at each other, with Subaru yelling at her that he loves her, and Amelia saying that he doesn't have to love her, and he doesn't have to go through all the stuff he does for her. But they make up and they grow even closer and they end up kissing, which just furthers Subaru's relationship with Amelia, as she is his reason for why he does what he does, and why he's going through all of this. So the season pretty much ends with Subaru facing off against the assassins of the mansion, the Great Rabbit, and Echidna as a whole, and coming out on top because of what he went through and learned as a result. Also gotta say that Garfield, another character introduced in season 2, is pretty scary, but also kind of a meme because his name is Garfield and he transforms into a giant orange tiger, which is a cat. Basically, he's fucking Garfield. But anyways, Subaru's journey is incredible, and he goes from someone who hates himself and thinks of himself as a loser, but tries to act like he's some big shot who can do anything he sets his mind to. But after meeting Amelia, she becomes his reason for being in this world. All of the suffering, pain, death, loneliness he has gone through, and all the people he's met and grown to care for have pushed him to transform into a character who will do anything to save those he cares about. Overall, Subaru is just an amazing protagonist who goes through the worst kind of hell, but has some of the best character progression I've ever seen in a character in an anime. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know if you want to see more videos like this. And with that, I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.